Whenever you do this so much, you're used to passengers just not paying attention to you or giving a damn anyway. That's just what you're used to. When we had this emergency landing, when I tell you everything we said on the intercom, nobody was on their phones. Nobody was playing around. Everybody was locked in and it was listening to every word we were saying because it's ride or die at this point.
Black rose, black rose. Black rose, black rose, black rose in the sky. Black rose, black rose. Black rose, black rose, black rose in the sky. Black rose, black rose. Black rose, black.
What's going on, beautiful people? I am Lando Success and I am switching it up today. Unfortunately, I would have my whole setup, but I am getting my roof done and replaced. So you're going to hear random bums and random Mexican music because they are jamming up there. But I still wanted to drop a video because my only option was to go in the car and record. And I'm tired of being in the car. So I'm like, hey, at least let me release something. So what I decided to do today was give you guys a flight attendant story. When I meet people and tell them I was a flight attendant for 10 years, people always want to know what are the craziest stories, what's the craziest thing ever happened to you, crazy passenger stories. So I said on my channel, every once in a while, I will give you guys some good juicy stories. This story is my first emergency landing. So I was based in Chicago at the time. I was probably 2 years into being a flight attendant. We was in Portland, Maine. The goal was to leave Portland, Maine. It was a late night flight. It was like leaving at like 8 or 9 and we was going to Chicago and that's like a 3-hour, 30-minute flight. So he's going to leave late and come back late, right? So we getting ready to take off, get in my jump seat, do all my checks, everything ready. We take off. Now, when you do this for a living, you notice different sounds. You notice what's different, vibrations. You can kind of feel the plane. So I felt 5 minutes after takeoff, we was hovering. I felt like a sound and we was hovering. And I go to call the other flight attendant. I'm like, yo, do you notice something is weird? She's like, yeah, I was about to call you. I was feeling the same thing. So me and her was on the same page. Then we get the chime from the flight deck, meaning they was calling us. So I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on? It was like, well, we're trying to get the landing gear up. So usually when you go in the air and you know that little landing gear, it pull up, you hear it go in and it pull up. They was trying to get it up, but since it was cold, because it was during the wintertime, it's snow everywhere in Portland, Maine, so you know it's freezing everything, right? So when they tried to pull up the landing gear, it would just fall back down. So it wouldn't go back down. So he was like, so we're going to have to turn back around and we're just going to have to go back to Portland, Maine because we can't fly with the landing gear down and all that type of stuff, all right? So I'm like, all right, cool. I got on the intercom and let everybody know, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading back to Portland, Maine because the landing gear won't go up. So not thinking too much of it. It is what it is. It's late. People want to go home. Hey, it happens. 10 minutes later, he calls me back. He was like, yeah, you know how we said the landing gear won't come back up? I'm like, yeah, what's up? He was like, our flaps are not working no more. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm like, ain't the flaps that turn the plane, like those flaps? He was like, yes. I was like, so what do we do? He's like, we're going to have to declare an emergency landing because we can't turn the plane. But he was like, one of them is working. One of them is working. So how are you planning on landing this plane? He was like, so we're going to put one flap down and we're going to circle and we're going to circle and we're going to keep on going down and we're going to circle and we're going to land as we doing that. And oh yeah, when we land, you're going to see fire trucks and you're going to see the ambulance. Why I always say ambulance. We gonna see the red trucks everywhere. And I'm like, why is that necessary? It's like, because, you know, when we land, we can't control the plane. And when we land and we can't control the plane, we can veer off runway and things kind of go to hell. Bet. Cool. Emergency landing. I'm on it. People always wonder, like, what's the flight attendant mind frame when you endure something crazy like this, right? We get trained for these type of situations. But our reoccurring training is only once a year. So once every year, we go over these emergency situations. Outside of that, if you're over and beyond flight attendant, which most not, nobody don't even look at it, care about it. And we hope to not have emergency landing. So you really don't be thinking about it too much. But for me, as soon as it happened, I just went into autopilot and robot mode. It's like I just completely knew what to do. I wasn't scared because the way I look at it, like, yes, when you see bad turbulence, you be terrified and scared and all this type of stuff. At this point, this is an emergency. It's either we gonna die or we not. And it's up to me and this other flight attendant to figure this out and do it, right? So I talked to the other flight attendant. We communicated. She like, okay, it is a planned emergency where we have enough money. It is a planned emergency where we have enough time to plan everything out. So the good thing is it's not something else. We about to land in 3 minutes. No, we had something like, hey, we got 20 something minutes to land. This is how we're going to do it. So he broke it down to us great. So we like, all right, me and the flight attendant was able to converse. All right, let's go to our books, our manual that tell us exactly what to do in this situation. So that's the good thing. It's like, hey, Orlando, your flight attendant in the back or she flight attendant in the front. This is her checklist of what she needs to do. This is my checklist. So we just completely went over it. Now, the passengers. Whenever you do this so much, you're used to passengers just not paying attention to you or giving a damn anyway. That's just what you're used to. When we had this emergency landing, when I tell you everything we said on the intercom, nobody was on their phones. Nobody was playing around. Everybody was locked in and it was listening to every word we were saying because it's ride or die at this point. But the good thing, nobody really panicked, but you can tell it just was a cold, silent energy on the plane. So we had to teach people how to do like the emergency brace. Hey, put your hands up here, do this if you got an infant. So we're going through everything. I feel confident. The other flight attendant feel confident. We called back to the flight deck, got them ready. I'm ready. Y'all ready. He like, let's do this. Now, to be honest, this just being very transparent. When I got with Mesa, the company I was with, it was not a lot of growth. So the average first officer, or you want to say co-pilot, was at the company minimum 4 years, like at the lowest. Usually it was like you'll work with somebody that's a first officer that been there 8 years and a captain that been there like 15 years. So that made it so secure as a flight attendant, as a crew member, because 9 times out of 10, you was working with a crew of people that been through all of this and know what they're doing. Versus years later when our company started growing, I was working with a first officer that's been here 3 months and a captain that's been here 2 years. So that also helped, just throwing that out there. So as we getting ready to land, I see everybody is terrified at this point. So I get on the intercom and it was so funny. Everybody was in the brace position early. Like, I'm like, yo, when we say brace, then y'all do the brace. We got 15 minutes to land. Everybody like that. So I get on the intercom and I'm like, look, y'all, I know y'all ready and y'all pay good attention, but why the hell are y'all in a brace position already? And everybody just bust out laughing. And that was able to break the ice. And everybody was able to realize, hey, the flight attendant, he's confident. The other flight attendant, I think it was Christy or Christine. If you watch this, I'm sorry, Chrissy or Christine. I think I remember who the flight attendant was. She did amazing because you could mess around and have somebody that just choke and they just not ready for the moment and you have to do it all by yourself. And that scenario actually happens a lot. But she was ready. I was ready. The passengers ready. Let's land this plane. Honest to God, truth. We go to land and you're getting closer and you see nothing but fire trucks and the other red thing that I can't say today worth nothing. You see them all surrounded. You like, oh, this is a emergency. Oh, we about to land. we could catch on fire. Yeah, that wasn't funny, but it could have happened. And they landed the plane perfectly. Perfect. Like when I tell you, it did not feel like we had an emergency landing. Like if they never told us anything, we would have thought everything was regular. Besides the fact, when we landed, because everybody just panicking, well, everybody's hoping that the plane don't veer off. So we landed and we just did a little slide and they had to get the tug, you know, the thing that come drive up and push the plane back. They had to bring that to the middle of the runway to take us all the way back to the gate because the plane couldn't turn when we landed. So overall, we landed successfully. Everybody got the clapping. I was happy. I was so proud of the pilots and just the whole crew. And we went back to Portland, Maine. Once we got there after paperwork and doing everything, now we back at like 11 p.m. in Portland, Maine. So the captain like, hey, we had a long day. It's a Denny's across the street. I'm taking y'all out. Y'all deserve it. So we all went to Denny's. We enjoyed it. So that is my story about my first emergency landing. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you want to hear some more good passenger stories. I can do some good passenger stories. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Press that ring notification so you can get updates whenever I drop a video. I'm Lando Success. I appreciate all you guys, and I'm out. Random fact. So in Portland, Maine, our overnights, we always get in at 10:30 p.m. or later, and they bar closed at 10. So we hated it because you will have a 24-hour, 36-hour overnight in Portland, Maine. And since I'm allergic to fish, I can't go out and go do all the fishy stuff and eat all the seafood, right? So you'll want to land, you'll want to go to the bar with the crew and have a good time, but you couldn't. And they randomly at that Fireside Hotel gave us like those whoopee cushion chocolate marshmallow things. If you ever had one of those, let me know. I haven't had one since I've been there. Those things are amazing. But one thing they did have was a strip club that was across the street. That's the only place. There's no bars. There's nothing around besides like a Burger King, Denny's, and a strip club. And if you wanted to eat, you had to go to a strip club. And if you stayed at the hotel we stayed at, you got a strip club for free. So that was an ongoing thing at our company. If you stayed at Portland, Maine, everybody at least been in a strip club once because everybody knows strip clubs have amazing wings. They actually have the best chicken tenders. Oh my gosh. Those chicken tenders there was amazing. And the dancers, it wasn't nothing special, but if you ever go to Portland, Maine, I forgot the name of the strip club, but I can let you know. They ain't you seeing black people though. Definitely ain't you seeing black people. I enjoyed it.